Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last day of Week 5 of the LCS Challengers League. We have 3 very exciting series to get underway, but before we do that, I have to introduce myself. I am Andrew Graves-Howe. I've been covering the NACL qualifiers for a little bit throughout this year, and I am joined by Desrex and Cubby for our last day of games of the penultimate week, the race to playoffs. Really heating up, gentlemen. How are we doing?
I'm excited, man. I get to join with... Oh, Cubby's not doing too well at the moment, unfortunately.
Really, Mark?
You got Nocturne Ultimate coming through. I didn't realize Rafa had locked that in, Cubby. What's going on?
I don't know, man. Mark's just really trying to yank my chain this week. I don't know how I've wronged him. So because Rafa keeps on turning off my lights, I just want to say that he has yet to empty the trash or do the dishes this week.
Oh man, we are airing dirty laundry at the cost of the cast on our stream today.
Oof.
Oh man, that's right. This is the first time we've been on a show together. We did the rap videos together, and now we're here. I'm very excited.
We've done such good content together, and yet we haven't been on the same desk. What the heck, man? But hey, dreams do come true, and that's one right here. This is my personal dream with my biggest hero, Rapes. It is an honor.
Yeah, I've been a little busy covering the qualifiers. And speaking of, we just wrapped that up yesterday with our champions of the first OQ being crowned. Congratulations to Team Ambition. You can see the roster right here. Porsche, Limo, Kachu, Levitate, and Snow2. My goodness, what a series this was. A best of 5 against Winthrop. We have some clips of that series that we can start to run right now. I know, Desert Cubby, you guys are working the NACL during these finals, but catching the first couple of games, it was a lot of fun.
I was at least able to catch the first 3. It seemed one-sided early on, but I got to say, Grapes, you were on the cast for this one, so you're going to have to fill me in on the back half, as it was a very close best-of-5 series. Yeah,
so some really competitive moments throughout. Winthrop specifically have added to their collegiate roster. They have Trickster and Sword. They had some of the more dominant games throughout the series, but in Game 5, Team Ambition, our champions, they took it home. Look at this engage from Snow2 on the recon. Him and Levitate from Tony Top. They promoted into the NACL just a split ago, and they're looking to try to do it again.
I gotta say, I really like seeing Levitate play well with Snow2. I felt like that was a bot lane that was pleasantly surprising in the LCS or NACL promotion tournament in the spring, and looks like we have a good chance of seeing them in summer as they took the most championship points with that win in the first OQ, which is going to really help them make sure they get in that promotion tournament for summer and having the opportunity to play in NACL next split.
And Eric, you know, you were at the CLO Championship. I know we were casting it. You're watching as a fan. We got Porsche in the top lane as a new addition to TA. He came in halfway through the split and really turned this team around. I mean, I'm just really excited to watch them and the rest of this entire group of qualifier teams move forward.
It was kind of shocking to me because I've been watching a lot of these rosters for so long, both Team Ambition and Winthrop, and those are not the rosters I am familiar with, but it always gets me excited because it means new talent is clicking together, and you never know what's going to happen in that promotion tournament.
And it's interesting to note that this is just one of 2 tournaments that are happening throughout the summer split in the qualifiers. This is our little promotion for that. But we could take a look at some of the teams that are leading the pack at this very moment. Team Ambition and Winthrop, as we saw, alongside Mirage Alliance, which many people thought were going to be the favorites to win the whole thing. They have players like Neo and Olorum and Dardock and Chad, all have played in the NACL stage before. And Lit Esports sitting at number 4 with Dragoon and Kizno, 2 other players that promoted in the spring split. Cubby, what are some of your impressions of these teams that you have here?
I mean, Team Ambition, really impressive of them to get that first win. Is not only do they topple Winthrop University in the finals, but also beat the favorites, Mirage Alliance, on their way there. And also, I gotta say, good to see Lit Esports with Dragoon messages in there as well, as those were a couple of players who, especially, Dragoon, qualified with that Supernova roster as well last split. So, love to see some of the players get have success in OQs, and really hope to see them get another opportunity to try and promote into this league. Dragoon's a player that I feel like has been on the edge of being in this league for so long, so definitely someone that I root for moving forward.
And it's always a trip to see how some of these teams are going to perform, especially when we see them on paper and see how stacked they are, such as Mirage Alliance. But we saw last year, same thing with 100 Thieves Next. Sometimes these super teams can slip up. Mirage Alliance, I would like to see them in the second qualifier to see what they're going to bring, because that is a very stacked roster. I'm also keeping my eye on Winthrop University, because we know I tend to be a big Winthrop fan. Even if this is not the same names, a lot of the same teammates are helping out this roster. Denethor and Mabud, I know, work together quite a bit over on Winthrop University. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the next qualifier has, especially for some of these names that are looking to promote up.
Yeah, I mean, there's other teams here as well that haven't necessarily made it into the top 4. Cheese Chaser specifically is one of my favorite ones. They have Scooped, who was on Native for last year, and they also have 2 of the players from the Evil Geniuses Combine in Barrack and Kryra on that roster. They are just outside the top 4 right now. And a reminder to everybody that if you do want to try to qualify into the NACL, there's still an opportunity because the second qualifier applications are still open. It's an open process to try to sign your team up. If you think you're better than some of the rosters you see on your screen, why not give it a go?
I did want to say, I was a little bit disappointed because I did say I'm a Winthrop fan. Komodo is basically the official Winthrop one. Didn't do too well this time.
Official in your eyes.
Bring it back, man. Bring it back.
Oh, man, yeah. And a reminder, once again, if you do win the entirety of the second qualifier, it does not matter with the amount of points that you've actually ended up getting in across both OQs. You just automatically get in as the first seed to play against the bottom 2 teams of the NACL in the promotion tournament that is happening this August. So as somebody who follows the qualifiers for a long time, make sure you sign up. Qualifier, the OQ's Swiss format starts next week. But we got to start talking about the NACL. And to start us off for the day, we got a new episode of On the Range.
Never been in a documentary before.
What exactly a Challengers Drive is?
Our job as ranchers is simple. Make sure the players get where they're going.
And where's that?
Well, the LCS.
Put it on the top left.
Never been able to get these right.
How's the drive been so far?
Well, the drive's been real rambunctious. Our critters are a lively one this year.
Remember, look at the camera. What's been the biggest moment?
Well, the biggest moment, there's too many to count. I have to think. I remember this one. By golly, Zyko put on some goalie gloves and he was doing nothing but protecting from Maryville University. Now, this ain't been an easy road to the playoff trail for this team. They've had some ups and downs, but luckily Zyko was right there ready to give them the horns, baby. This next one's a doozy. It ain't been all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed for the Supernova team on their way to the playoff trail. It's been bloody. They got knocked out a couple teeth here and there, but Quacker ain't one to back down from a fight, and he's going to show them just how to do it, too. He's going to give it to them left, give it to them right, and take them out all night. Now, there's a couple things you want to have when you're heading off to the playoff trail and you're on a cattle drive. First and foremost is a mode of transportation, and a horse be mighty fine. Now, when you're coming from Cincinnati, you're going to be a little bit fearful. All right, this team is jumping guys, can I get one word in edgewise, please? Guys, I'm trying to sell your story. All right, y'all busy. I'm going to leave y'all alone.
Spend the night! Please!
So what's up next for the drive?
It's going to be a bit of a roughing at the playoff trail coming up. Only 2 teams can make it to the LCS. It's going to be a doozy.
Who do you think's going to do it?
At this point, it's up to the critters. Only they can tell.
I gotta say, Mazel sounded surprisingly a lot like Philip in one of those clips there. I don't know how he was able to do it.
He gets the vocal range up there. It's close.
I guess it's just the magic of Hollywood, you know.
This is such a Kangas thing now. When he does his a lot of his directing, the first Super Mario at SmackDown, he had to do the close up on my mouth and everything. He does the same thing with, and I'm losing it, dude. Kangas Productions.
So you're saying that Kangas production with mouths is like what Quentin Tarantino is for feet? Is that what I'm getting here?
He just loves his mouth.
Even more.
All right, I feel like we need a new director.
He has a lot of B-roll that you don't know about, man.
Fix that next week.
We're going to have to send some question marks Kangas' way. But thank you very much to Mazel for that episode of On the Range and for priming us to get into the standings for the NACL. We're almost a full 5 weeks in, and things still look pretty close. Remember, the bottom 2 teams, their season ends in just 1 week, gentlemen.
Yep.
Taco and Supernova right now are on the outside looking in.
8 games left for the gang, and that race for really seeing who makes top 8, I gotta say, a little bit closer than the race that we have at the top, but I think one of the standouts to me yesterday, we had our top 4 teams playing in the last 2 matches on the mainstream, and TLC and FlyC took two very convincing 2-0s in their favor, which I thought was really impressive as they created some distance between themselves and the pack at the tip top.
And the thing is, like, a lot of these teams that are in the bottom right now, they're definitely not out of it. I mean, Taco has still been getting some upsets onto the season. They did get split. They did split a series with EGC. At the same thing with Supernova in the Fear game. And considering how close these win records are, I mean, it's 12 for AoE currently. You go look down at Supernova, 10, just a 2-game difference.
Yeah.
It's anyone's race to get out from being put into that promotion tournament and making it into playoffs.
I am happy to see there's a little bit more parity in the league than we had last year. Even Supernova and Taco, who are at the bottom, they've won 10 games. They're able to split, take series off of some of the teams that are higher than them. I will have my eye on Maryville, though. They've been slipping this week after having a very strong week 3 to close out the first round robin, but they're not going to be on our stream. Let's take a look at the games that we have for today. Starting off Supernova TL, then going to Fear DSG and FlyQuest versus Evil Geniuses.
I gotta say, I think Fear versus GSG could be a fun one in the middle, and EGC is gonna have their handful, as if FlyQuest plays like they did yesterday and the day prior, FlyQuest is 4-0 this week, and I think that this has been their strongest week of play. It feels like everyone is firing on all cylinders on this team. Really excited to see if that can continue later against EGC.
Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted to bring up, being 4-0 going against EGC. We haven't had anyone get a 6-0 week yet. Would be pretty nice if FlyQuest can bring an end to that. I think it was Team Liquid who were close just about every other week, except for the last one that came through. But FlyQuest, they really are starting to spread their wings now and look like a dominating team. My eyes is definitely going to be on that middle one, because we have some arguments we got to settle a little bit later, Cubby. But yeah, it's going to be a fun day.
And we got to start off with our first series on the horizon. Supernova versus Team Liquid Challengers. Take a look at the Supernova roster. Some names that have definitely impressed, but remember, they are sitting in a tie for last place. If the season ended today, they would not be in the playoffs.
And I think that for Supernova, it's interesting. I had Sketch in my chat last night when I was doing VOD reviews, and he's like, I feel like we're like the best, worst team that this league's seen, in a sense, because Supernova has 10 wins. It's not like they're a team that's getting rolled. I think that Supernova, they play map rather well, actually, as a bottom team, which I think is why they have so many wins, because if they get leads, they can turn them into victories. It has just been, I think, a few slip-ups, and I think notably the Supernova bot lane has struggled quite a bit in lane. It still is a bot-focused meta, and so Supernova, I think they have struggled a little bit with that, but still, we have seen some really good looks from this roster at times. I think Trevor's still playing all right. And Quacker's been, wasn't surprised this split. I mean, it's still the back half of the split, but he continues to impress.
Yep, and their opponents today going to be Team Liquid Honda Challengers, your #1 team entering the final day of Week 5. I mean, DeathStarX's teams look really good throughout the season, and even with this mid lane change with Harry coming back from the LCS, I mean, still looking very, very good.
Yeah, I want you to keep in mind, last time Harry was here, he was putting up some of the best numbers we had the highest KDA by like a long shot at 5.8. Was up there in solo kills at the same time where you had like Hoppy, Insanity, Spyrax, Pretty, all in the league alongside him, and now he's not even missing a second when it comes to performing down here in Tier 2 once again. First 4 games, it's like he never left. Still top in the laning stats, still topping in the KDAs. I mean, this team is firing off like a well-oiled machine, and even with that switch in the mid lane, I think it's still going to be swinging for the fences.
I've got to say, too, I think that day 1, we kind of saw Harry not be on the same page as this squad, but they played really good Team League of Legends yesterday. I thought their Scion macro was fantastic, and Harry was a highlight in that series, so hope that continues today.
Now, normally this is the part of the show where we show some clips, try to get you guys up to date on what we've seen from these teams so far, but, you know, each of these teams, they have different goals in mind, and we are in the midst of our race to playoffs as our teams are driving around the track one final time before the end of Week 5, and Cubby, DeathStarX, we have some vehicles that these teams are driving in, because they each have some different goals. Cubby, I guess you're going to go first here.
Yeah, for TLC, I think that they are 2 games up on the pack, and guys, well, not sponsored, but, if we're going to build the recipe for success for TLC, where their members go on the cart, we're going to have to see, first off, Cayman and Bradley. These guys, they're at the front because they're the engagers, right? True. Bradley was on Scion. When he presses R, that's like the closest thing that we get to a car in League of Legends anyway. So I feel like this is appropriate for the side of TLC.
Bumper.
Yeah, they're the ones starting things up. But guys, the person that really makes this team run, it's Mir. Mirror is essential
All the
for making
wheels.
sure that this team gets going. As he really makes sure that, these guys are always trying to stay ahead. I think the way that Mirror accelerates the game is still very strong. He was our most valuable prospect last split. He still is a really powerful jungler this split, as he's been really good for TLC. Besides that, guys, Arrow, he's been a beast, but let's be honest, he's playing Marksman, so he's kind of a passenger princess. He's just along for the ride, doing as much damage as he can, making sure that things don't get lost around, along the way. And then we've got Harry, who honestly,
What?
Harry, I thought really drove this team forward. He was winning lane, he was getting push, he was getting forward percentage, and then of course, APA is still, there in spirit.
He's still there with us.
He's still there in spirit on this team. He was a big part of getting them there here.
Yeah.
So I feel like, with him maybe in the background, this could be really strong for the side of TLC as they try and take first place and really reassume their position in Challengers as being that top dog. Keep in mind, they won both splits last year. And the fact that Spawn is here with 4 out of the 5, now 3 out of the 5, new members on this team, I think is really speaks to what TLC has going on in that building with this group too. They've been playing a really good league.
A very well-oiled machine, right? I mean, got all the pieces rolling here, but their goal is to get first place, Eric, and I think
not sponsored. Not sponsored, by the way.
Can you get an animation of those mirror tires rolling
spinning around?
Yeah.
I might need Director Kangas for that one, I'm going to be honest.
All right, well, Desterek, Supernova have some other goals on their mind. Not necessarily first place, and their vehicle to just getting into playoffs might look a little different than
All right. So we got the Supernova pickup truck. How are we going to get this from point A to point B being playoffs? First of all, we need to get the engine running as strong as it can be. We need to get music something good. He's been really good on these champions who can kind of get around the map and play around mid. Vi and Sejuani are two to come to mind right away. He can also carry if you need to put him into that role. He showed that against MU with his Kindred play. It's going to take a little bit more than that because to climb this hill, you need some heavy-duty tires, baby. And we need something that can take all terrain. We need the champion pool of Robert Bobbert. He has one of the most expansive ones, third most when it comes to champions picked at 13. And he has a lot of fun, quirky picks as well. The Pantheon he pulled out against Team Fish Taco. If you need him to facilitate the Galio that he pulled out against FlyQuest. Not just that, though. We got the tires, we got the engine. Now we need to plow things out of the way. We need Quacker in the front. He's not the biggest team player. It's something he said he's working on, but that's okay. His individual play is absolutely tremendous, especially when he's on champions that can press aggression, that can take Ghost, for example. Second most in solo kills given at the current time. Now, what about Sketch? I know what you're thinking. You said Arrow is the passenger princess. Well, we're putting Sketch in the Giga extended bed. Let's be serious right now, right? It's not a secret that Sketch is struggling to have any meaningful laning stats. Teams are continuing to punish this. If it means drafting for Quacker to be successful over on that top side and having music set up counterplays in the bottom lane, self-pill, Zaya Ezreal, maybe we go back to Old Faithful Sivir, something to get Sketch to the teamfight phase. We got to drive him all the way over there to make sure he can succeed. And speaking of driving, we need a driver, none other than Trevor.
Family.
He's been the big shot caller for this squad. You got to commit to the calls, and you got to commit to it as a family. Thank you. That is my presentation.
Trevor is Vin Diesel confirmed.
With a little more hair.
That's how it is.
At least for now.
Maybe.
Well, we are about ready. I mean, I gotta say, for a car, just trying to get by, just get into playoffs, a lot of upgrades right there for you, Desterek.
That was a hell of a modified car. If Supernova can bring that onto the Rift, man, it might get some more wins.
We gotta go from 10th to 1st, man, or at least 10th to 8th.
All right, well, I'm hearing that draft for this start to the series is about to get underway, so I'm gonna leave you guys to it. Desterek and Cubby, take it away. Have a good game.
Thank you very much, Grapes. I'm just going to say, you need the modifications. This team's down in the dumps right now. If you're going uphill, best engine you can get, best tires you can get. Actually, I need to Photoshop chains onto those tires. So, Cubby, you can take it for a second here. Let me take that over.
I got to say, for Supernova yesterday, I know that, might be a little bit down to the dumps. But yesterday, they did find a 1-1 split against Cincinnati Fear. Yeah. And the first game, they lost 40-6 in a 25-minute game as Fear just obliterated them. And they came back and won the next one in the Slugfest. So I think it does speak quite a bit for where this team's head's at. That tells me that they really are not out of things yet, as they're really battling to make sure that they do have a chance to make playoffs. And they're not favored here against TLC, but their schedule left it is really difficult on the side of Supernova. I will should have linked this one up prior, but any win they can find in the back half of their schedule is going to be really, really important for Supernova, as they've got TLC today. The next week they have DSG, AoE, who's really on a hot streak, and then YC to wrap things up. So any wins for Supernova could mean a lot for giving them just a chance to make that top 8 and compete in playoffs.
And let's face it, it's a little bit on the grim side, given that level of competition coming through. But if anyone can do it, Supernova like to have those upset splits against a lot of teams. You were talking about Fear. Team Liquid is a team that just suffered a loss against Fear. And that was a pretty significant one, because Josh had the stat earlier. We were saying any time that Team Liquid is ahead at 15 minutes, they win 100% of the time. Fear put an end to that the last game that they had, and right now it does seem like Team Liquid are kind of on a recovery. They're trying to get back on track. They had that rough week that happened last week. Now, well, against Supernova, this is a team where you can take that breath, but you don't want to take too deep of one cut.
If any team was going to end that streak for Team Liquid, it's got to be Fury, you know? This team finds so many goofy comebacks between spring and summer with some of the fights they take. It's good. I mean, it wins them games, but anyway, getting back to this match, Desirux, we've got a lot of marksmen being taken away from TLC as they are anti-marksmen. Taking away Kindred, Kaisa, and Tristana, which will lead to a first pick Sejuani for the side of Supernova. They love to play that Renekton in the top side. Bradley yesterday, I thought Bradley and TLC's play yesterday with the Scion was really, really sound. They played map very well against DSG, didn't give them any windows to make plays. Also saw Harry prioritize that Azir. Wouldn't be surprised if we actually see that picked up for Harry here.
See TLC, next 2 picks go over to them. Instead, Mir is going to grab the Poppy. Really get that front line rolling already for TLC, plus the fancy Poppy plays you can make in the early. It's fun to see, but TLC, what are they going to pick this up with next? Thought it was going to go for the mid lane, but instead, Arrow. Grab an Arrow, knock it up with Varus.
Does give them some flexibility, as Arrow can go for the AD or AP build on the Varus, so they want to maybe find an AD mid laner. I think that Harry has always really excelled at melees, but this is play, I think, is his best mage from when we saw him throughout his time in Academy. Wouldn't be surprised if we actually see that picked up again. Also, I gotta say, Jace was banned away from Harry. Harry played his first Jace game on the split yesterday. So the fact he drew a ban for that, I found pretty funny. It does deny the Malachi Jace combo that TLC showed that they're very comfortable running. So I think that's an okay call from Supernova. And I mentioned the Azir potentially being picked up by Harry. Supernova sees that. They're like, it's not an melee pairing with a Sejuani, but we do not want to give this over to Harry. So expect that top laner now to be locked in. Not going to be the Renekton. Looks to be the Olaf.
Ow. All right, so getting a little bit of comfort coming out for Quacker. As you said, Ragnarok doesn't really get affected by the Steadfast presence, so Poppy doesn't really do too much over there.
You love your life as Olaf in the Poppy.
Yeah.
You absolutely just murk Poppy. So if we want to see a counter here for Bradley, we could see something like a Kennen. That would be a little bit heavy on the magic damage, potentially. Or you could answer mid for Harry, as I think that TLC is going to answer one of the solo lanes here, and it will be that Akali coming out.
All right, with the Akali locked in. A solo lane set for Team Liquid Challengers.
All right.
Some fancy play here. What do you got on your mind, Cubby?
Technically, Desirux, this is a flex. This is something that TLA used to do all the time last year.
You're right.
They used to flex Bradley's Akali with Harry. I think that Akali actually is good into both side lanes. One of the few lanes that Akali can do okay in, actually, in the top lane. It's Camille and Olaf I usually look out for Akali angles. So I'm curious what kind of creativity TLC's got up their sleeves, as at the moment they're showing a marksman. Supernova's not, so going to narrow that pool a little bit for Sketch. And Supernova, expect for them to take away maybe a couple matchups that they don't want to see on that top side for Olaf. I would expect this Akali to be mid. I think it's like a 75% chance it's going to be mid on the side of TLC, but Supernova should just be aware. I think that Kennen gets taken away here. Maybe a support pairing with Varus.
This is going to make it a little bit tricky for Supernova to try and figure out what they should do next into the draft. Gives a big lead over to Team Liquid, who have to handle this Olaf that's coming in for Supernova, which Quacker did make quite a name for himself on Ghost Champions. Darius is one of them, but Olaf is another one that really does shine out. Has had his struggles with it, but when he does pop off, he can get results like he did, what was it, the wildcard game? Yeah, wildcard game where we went 14-1-4 on that. Other than that, though, it has been a little bit lackluster in performances for Quacker on this Olaf.
Something that Quacker, I know that when he had that game, he's like, all right, I re-earned the Olaf ban because he was undefeated on it in spring. So It is a champ that we definitely know Quacker for, and even if it hasn't shown the results, I think the Quacker still pilots it rather well. That TLC will have to be concerned about, as that Olaf could get out of control later. Not going to be the Cannon ban, but going to be a Fiora ban thrown at Bradley, as TLC actually toppled Fake God's Fiora yesterday. But also we have seen a little bit more Fiora get played. Surdy pulled it out. And Jax is a bit of a skill matchup in the top lane going up against Olaf, but one we'll see if Bradley wants to lock in.
It's going to be interesting if you throw down with this. Quacker does get a lead and things start going well over there. That allows Music to start to focus around mid and focus around bottom. Try and alleviate some of the pressure, especially that's going to happen in bottom lane. A lot of teams have been very active in attacking that bottom lane of Supernova.
Lane now needs to be locked in. There will be a support counter for the side of Kimdown. That Renata band told me that they were probably going to look for something like Nautilus, but at the moment, Rel is up and available, as that has been the priority support if that wants to be picked up by the side of Supernova. And honestly, got to consider that because it could be a little bit of a deny from Kimdown, who has shown that he is a very good Rel player.
So with the Ezreal locked in, one of the good things here is Arcane Shift. It's a blink, not a dash, so you don't have to worry about the steadfast presence onto that. You will have some self-pill available to you if the pressure does start mounting over towards the bottom. Now this final pick coming out for Supernova, it does look like they fancy themselves the Bard. I want to see if this is going to get locked in, and yeah, lock it in, the Bard for Supernova.
We're going to blind Bard for the side of Supernova. Now, all TLC's got to jump on in. If Bard hits a good ultimate, able to reset, also with the Ezreal in the bot lane, you are able to actually roam as Bard, where Bard likes to be on the map. So the answer now for Kimdown, he's going to go for the Thresh. So good pairing with Varus. This tells me it could be the on-hit Varus that's coming out from Arrow to give him that Lantern for a little bit more safety. But yeah, I will say Bard should have roam advantage on the Thresh, and I think that it's very important that TLC gets off to a good start in this early game. They get outscaled from a few lanes here on the side of Supernova, but the Kaveh is able to hit that one item spike hard with the Poppy. Varus can handle the late game, but it's all about getting these melees rolling for the side of TLC.
And I do like some of the answers that Supernova have drafted for this game. I mean, Harry being on the Akali, Emperor's Divide is a good way to try and shut that out from jumping in. Same thing with the Jax over there. As well as the engage that you have, you already mentioned the Bard, but the Sejuani getting off the ultimate. And anything that tries to stop this Olaf, you know, whether you're going forward or backward, Quacker can still be a complete menace. I think this is an alright draft coming out for Supernova for what they need to take into Team Liquid.
I think that definitely they have scaling, and we haven't seen Supernova have the best early game. I think that they play map decently well. So we'll see if they can weather the storm of TLC's early games that I think have still been pretty solid this split. It hasn't been that very oppressive Goldie that we've seen from them in the past. I think they actually excel a little bit more in the mid game, but with Harry stepping into this team, is something that we have always known to have a good laning phase, especially at this level of play. And we'll see if he can do so today on the Akali, a pick that he is very good at.
All right, Twitch chat, let us know who you want to take the dub. Type in SN for Supernova, TLC for Team Liquid Challengers. One of the things I've liked about Supernova, specifically their staff, is they'll try and do like group chats in the Twitch chat. They'll all come together and say the same thing at the same exact time. Makes it, kind of reminds me of the live audience feel. Especially when you get into some of those LCK matches and you kind of hear it in the background.
Oh, I love that, man. There really nothing beats, for me, like getting out of the rift of LCK and just hearing the fan chants. It's definitely one of the cooler traditions that they have going on over there.
So now, I want to bring the attention over to the bottom lane. Because again, as I mentioned in the pre-show, Sketch is someone who's been struggling to get meaningful stats. Do you think this is the answer that's going to get the Giga extended bed and get Sketch over to that mid-game where we can have a more prominent team fight with Supernova scaling?
Yeah, so Sketch in the laning phase, he's actually leading the league in gold deficit at 15. He's averaging being down about 1,000 gold at the 15-minute mark. I think that the Ezreal, it does have a lot of range, and it interacts really well with the melees that are going to be coming out from TLC, especially later in this game. It's just that Ezreal needs to make sure that things are getting that off to a terrible start. Deserex. So Varus should have priority. Bard helps in this lane, but Varus gets prio once you get level 3, and especially off that first base where Varus will not be going for items like the tier, likely to be going for what I expected to be the on-hit build, but I must say, it is Hail Blades, Varus coming out, so potential that we see something a little bit different.
I'm curious right now, ward already placed by Arrow did win around the side to get that into the brush. I want to see the pathing Mir is going to take if he does want to try and do anything too early over here. It looks like he's going to go for a full clear over towards the top side. His Raptor camp was already taken. Music heading towards that top scuttle, so it doesn't look like too much interaction with the bot lane. Music wants to head over top and try and get this Olaf rolling. But he's walking on top of a ward. Bradley, aware of it, comes the Arctic Assault forward, but with a simple leap strike, he gets the safety.
Jack's always buffed up in games that involve Sejuani. Your ability to not only dodge out on the Permafrost passive, stack with it as well, as Kim tries to guess the juke there from Sketch. Sketch uses the Arcane Shift to get out. That's a nice magical journey that ends up getting canceled.
Yeah, nice use of the Flay right there from Kim down. Fortunately for Sketch, it doesn't expire after the first use, so you can just walk in and do it again.
Yeah.
But good harassment coming out, already pressing the advantage is Team Liquid's bot lane.
Full clear here for Mir. So we'll be top crab going over to Music as Bradley ended up walking back to base. And curious if Bradley decides to actually fistfight Quacker. Quacker ended up going for Ghost plus Barrier. Or Flash plus Barrier, not the Ghost this game. Because Bradley does have item advantage, doesn't connect with that E. But Quacker's low. Mir's here. Here we go.
We're can get rough. Already able to shove him away from the turret. Flash not even going to be burned. It's an easy first blood for Mir.
Barrier either. So Quacker, that's really tough for him now. He doesn't have TP in this lane. It's so important that when you're running a TP-less top laner, that you get a good first reset. This wave being where it is for Bradley will be an item advantage for Quacker, but Bradley can hold the wave here, and he has TP. So when Quacker gets back to lane, you'll see Bradley trade out a little bit of health, most likely, and then just TP back in with an item advantage then against Quacker. So things really, really good for Bradley now in that top side, and what is a very volatile matchup as we take another look. He doesn't connect here from Bradley. Missed out on a little bit of XP, but was able to take that trade because you are Jax. You have the counter-strike, so you can dodge out on the minion damage. The Mir knocks him in. A lot of damage goes down on the Quacker. He decides to not pop the Flash or the Barrier, and he ends up falling.
Surprised one of those minions actually stayed up for so long. There was one, he just kind of went right past to go get the kill, gets back to the minion wave in time. Everything working out for Bradley. Especially this wave state at its current moment is going to put Quacker in a pretty bad situation. Now looking at the bottom lane. Priority established for Team Liquid Challengers. They're going to start off early pull onto the Drake.
Looks to be the poke Varus, actually. I'm rather surprised as that was paired up with a Thresh. I thought Thresh was kind of tipping it off the on-hit. Not... I would say not great in Olaf Sejuani. I think this is a way where Varus can actually interact with the majority of this game. So I don't mind the adaptation coming out from TL. But it does index them even further towards that early game Deserock. So really important that TLC were able to get that first dragon on time and on schedule, because they're going to need to stack up a soul as the scaling of Supernova, given the Varus build now, even more towards Supernova and Supernova favorite as this game goes on.
That's always the nice thing about having Azir. It does help out having that DPS champion who can just auto away with the Sand Soldiers to bring that DPS towards these tanks that need to be torn down. That puts a bit of stress on the Harry to make sure this Azir isn't going to pop off. Current lane state, Robbie Bob does have to walk up a little bit more, and I know Music likes to hover around mid more so than any other lane. We'll see if he tries to set up Robbie Bob for success, but right now it does look like Bradley trying to scope out where Music is.
Scouting ward down for Bradley, as doesn't spot Music on the ground, but will spot him if he decides to make his way towards the top side. As at the moment, TLC doing a nice job, Deserox, of handling this early game. Not surprised to see Harry have a CS lead against this Azir. Again, Harry, when he was in Academy last split, I believe he led all mid laners in goal differential at 15. Yeah. And the way that he played with Armeo was a really impressive part of TLA. As Armeo Ayla ran the rifts, Harry always playing up, forward, and ahead in lane, thanks to the support he had around him, and just Harry's good play in general too. So good to see him get back to that as he's back in Challenge.
Yeah, he was top in the differentials. When it came to CS and gold, same thing, CS per minute, gold per minute. He was pretty cracked when it came to the mid lane for Team Liquid and what they wanted to do. But now what Supernova want to do is dive Bradley. Mir is over on the side of the map at the moment.
This 2v2 goes in favor of Supernova usually, but Mir has access to 6.
Ooh, nice flash coming out from Quacker. Gets him away from the tower. But can they return the fight? Throw some axes right back over to Bradley. Now hopping in. Ultimate popped by Mir, but they can't get anything else. Now looking for the turnaround is going to be Supernova. Axe lands onto Mir. Gets a bit of the slow. Still waiting for that Arctic Assault to come through to get that permafrost stun. But
Zier's coming.
It is procced. Now walking up. Robbie Bob wants to position himself to try and help this fight out for Supernova, but too low on the health bar. Supernova called it off.
Defense on the 2v2 there from Mir. The fact that he had level 6, I think, was the difference, as it was a level in favor of Bradley and Mir. As
If you blinked, past tense, I don't know. What's that word? You missed it. That was a kill. A heartbeat coming through, came down. A beautiful death sentence.
If you block?
Yeah.
Well, then you missed the chunk. That's the only way I can save that one there. All right. Teamwork here, Deserex, early in the day. Speaking of teamwork, well played by Kim Down and Arrow on the bot side. Led with Chains of Corruption, not able to get through that magical journey, as we have a little bit of a duel around the Rift Herald. Bradley can get in the pit from the back. This is now spotted by the side of Supernova. Trevor is here. Harry is very strong at this fight.
Still Music trying to position right here, and so is Trevor, but they just hop right onto him. The magical journey can't save you. Doesn't look like it can save Music either. Will throw out the ultimate. Bradley gets low, but trying to get out. Robbie Bob on the hunt. Music goes down. Sand Soldiers go forward. They take down Bradley. Emperor's Divide onto Mir. Quacker is there, but Lantern will pull Mir right over to Kim Down.
Very able to hop over the wall, as well as TLC win out on the skirmish and the objective. Bradley traded out, but nice roam here from Kim Down to make sure that his teammates get out okay, and Trevor gets caught in transition again as Bard goes down. Take another look. Yeah, Trevor's level 5. The magical journey gets shorted. He walks up, not able to connect to the Q against Bradley. And even if he makes it through that portal, he's still going into the gray screen. Everything turned on to Bradley to make sure that Supernova are at least able to trade out one, but surprisingly, Supernova really taking so many fights, as they are not favored at the moment, Deserux, in this game. They need to wait a little bit. The only fight they can really take is going to be on the top side for Quacker, and we've already seen Mir and Bradley really turn that on its head now. Quacker does have that Vamp Scepter. When he gets back to this lane, opportunity for, in the extended lane phase, such wanting to maybe make an appearance. But any show top going to mean that that second Dragon goes over to TLC if they don't take it by their own volition. As Mir can wrap up his bot camps, run straight there, and we already saw a kill go over to Varus in the bot side, and it is the poke Varus build, so will be very oppressive for Supernova to deal with. Expect this Dragon to go over quickly to the side of TLC.
This game is going so quickly into TLC's favor. I mean, Supernova, they really have to consider how they approach these fights. Really, they shouldn't be approaching it at all, given the current state, because it's accelerating Team Liquid to where they want to be in the mid-game, ahead of Supernova, without Supernova having any scaling to their name. Now Robbie Bob getting ganked on by Mir. Mir able to get the knock-up. Play comes in. Robbie Bob's in trouble. Emperor's Divide lands onto Kim Down. Following through is Harry. Underneath the tower, sidesteps the death sentence and will take down Robbie Bob in the process.
Arrow?
Now Arrow has arrived. Chain of Corruption goes down. And out comes the magical journey. Will get Trevor out of there, but Team Liquid waiting for the fences on some of these, able to take down Robbie Bob thanks to Harry's dive.
Yeah, look at the aggression coming out from TLC. Ends up being a little bit close for comfort there. Kim ends up going down, but hey, they still trade up. They get a 0 off the map. And TLC is still really trying to push the pace. I gotta say, I think this was a little bit of a hard force. It's slightly unlucky that Mir doesn't find this into the wall, but a nice step forward for Robbie Bob at the last second. Actually saved them, I think, from going on in. And then a really nice scoop and score on Kim Down, as Robbie Bob is able to pick that one up for himself to get traded out. But really, best case scenario you can get right there from Supernova.
That was pretty immaculate coming out from the side of Harry, going for that dive, but also great heads up from Arrow to roam up, get that Chain of Corruptions down. Close to resulting in another kill, didn't actually go through. Gold really allocated towards the mid lane now for both of these teams. For Supernova, that's not too bad. I mean, Robbie Bob did go down in that last fight, but you're still getting money onto this Azir. The thing is, Harry's matching it kill for kill.
Ooh, came down not able to guess the dodge there from Robbie Bob, but it still is the Herald going mid. Love this Herald drop. If you are in a mid lane matchup where it's really hard for you to hit the turret like it is for Akali into Azir, 2 Heralds mid can take that one for you. With everyone showing mid, Bradley now going to have to be a little bit worse for wear on the top side. Whoever does miss that, he's going to wait for the Leap Strike, though. That's when he's going to throw out the Tempered Fate. He's upholding everything as Bradley slinks on away. Supernova get a win in the top side, so gold on the Quacker. Traded as Harry picks up some gold in his pockets mid.
Gotta get that plow running. Gotta get the Quacker up to full strength as fast as he can. Teleport will come out from Bradley. He did finish his Divine Sunderer, so he ahead of the curve for that. Now Mir trying to put some pressure down into this bottom lane. Be hard for Sketch, but he does steal away the golems, at least get some gold back. And that's a big consolation prize considering the state of the lane at the moment.
Breaths, Deserex. Gotta say for Supernova, credit to them, the last couple of minutes, they've actually been able to weather the storm a little bit here. They survived the first Herald drop without too much going over to TLC. They answer in the mid play. And this is about how we expected the matchup to go, if we're going to be honest here, Deserex. We do have our last place team against our first place team at the moment. So the fact that Supernova is down 2.5k gold, I'll say not too surprising. But they do have scaling, and that is something that Supernova fans can ride home about, as if they continue to weather the storm, things get better. What?
He shifted into it.
That threw me for a do-si-do. You know, in a way, Sketch, he didn't juke the Chain of Corruption, but he did juke me as a caster. I feel like there's a small win in that.
Well, now here comes the play into the bottom lane. We're trying to make this a big win. Standing right on top of the lantern means that Arrow can't click it. Sketch gets the kill. Now we can be happier.
Music drops the TL emote, and a great ward drop from Music that actually shut down the lantern from being taken by Arrow after the nice sidestep on the engage from Supernova. So good small play from Music, and it's going to snowball.
Yeah, Tempered Fate comes out, looking to hop onto Kim Down. Kim Down gets stunned up.
Flash.
It's not too much damage brought by Supernova, though, but they brought a lot of crowd control, and it gets enough time to take down Kim Down. But here comes Harry joining the fight, waiting for another stun as Robbie Bob wants to fight. Supernova, they're getting some leads now, and they're finding more as Quacker takes down Bradley. Supernova evening up the kills across the board. Supernova able to get a win.
Love how Music and Trevor snowballed that bot play into another one onto Kim Down. Harry couldn't really get involved to get any kills. The Sejuani already a bit tanky. And the fact that Supernova gets so much gold across the board from this play, Deserex, really big for them to have an even game at 15 as Bradley, he's dirty farming here. Gets caught trying to take a trade as Quacker's going to go pick up his wave. Throws out the ult. That leap strikes down. Quacker immediately flashes back in. Sign that you know what you're playing, man, in the Olaf. As once that, you know, what is he? Stop swinging the lantern? Is that how we want to phrase it? There's a very inappropriate way to phrase it that's used on Flower streams sometimes that I probably can't use here. But anyway, once that ends up going to the wayside, you do have Supernova Quacker finding that kill top. And gotta say, a 500 gold lead for TLC with this composition is not enough for this point at the game. Supernova actually in a pretty decent game state right now, and TLC didn't roll a great Dragon Soul in that Chemtech. It impacts the Rift more than Chemtech Soul impacts the game, in my opinion. So I think that things actually look pretty good for Supernova at the moment.
Yeah. This was 2.5k in the favor of TLC, and it's been shrunk by 2k now. Supernova really fighting this out in the last series of skirmishes, now giving themselves a fighting chance to actually stay into this one. You know, Sketch is doing okay. He's farming, keeping it up, was able to take that bot lane turret, so we got one of the things we needed. The Giga extended bed has been installed into the truck cubby, and we're getting Mr. President over to the mid game.
Is that 2 items, man? You don't need boots. You just need to fire up 2 items. Also,
when you're in the truck bed.
Boots' swiftness for Varus, I actually think this is really slept on, because whenever you charge the Q, the Boots' swiftness actually reduce the move speed deficit that you face when you charge the Q, so it allows you to be a little bit more mobile. Not to mention slows coming out from pretty much everyone on the side of Supernova, especially once there is going to be a Sorelda's Grudge on this Ezreal, so it's a small pickup in tech from Arrow, but I am a big Boots' swiftness fan. especially as support in combat move speed is slept on. And some supports. Good to see Arrow doing some research, getting some tech down, and picking that one up as Supernova gonna prevent this soul stack. TLC is seeing the Chemtech soul. I don't really care about this anymore. And Supernova end up denying the soul points, so really well done from them.
What comes out from Kim down, not going to result in too much right now. Getch holding on to that arcane shift. We'll do it over towards the dragon pit. Flashes over the wall. And Supernova, they get the dragon. Going to be able to walk on out. The pressure being applied by Team Liquid as they're going to take this momentum swing to try and take down the mid lane turret.
Not just the mid-outer, they're going for the mid-inner as well, as mid-outer does fall. Really like the path that Mir took there. And important to note that while Music has been getting some really solid plays down on the Rift for Supernova, Mir does have a CS lead on the Poppy. You are playing Poppy still, doesn't matter too much. Music even in items, but 2 levels for Poppy, doesn't matter a bit. As hard mechanics. Yeah.
It's one way to take care of it.
I like it, yeah, it's good. But Robbie Bob's in trouble. They showed 3 mid and TLC rotating to take down the Azir. Harry's going to try and get this wave in.
Gonna take one heck of an Emperor's Divide already used onto Mir, really now trying to slide out. Ooh, can't get out because an arrow finds his back. It's Arrow who gets the kill.
It was honestly really close from Robbie Bob. He waited out the Steadfast Presence to E. I don't think I saw the knockup come in. He was trying to Q and then E out in the back half, just wasn't able to find it. Not sure if the cooldown wasn't up. Not sure if didn't exactly see what happened to that one. Honestly, pretty close from Robbie Bob. He ends up falling as TLC end up getting their mid-outer traded in the back half. The Sketch answers back. Supernova continue to make enough plays to keep themselves in this game.
And that's what you want to see from Supernova. Not in action. You want to see them doing things on the map whenever Team Liquid try and find their play. Quacker trying to fly into play up top. Bradley burning the flash to get away, but now it's 3 members of Team Liquid up here, and there's no Ragnarok, so Quacker is dead to rights, hopping in with the counter-strike, puts up the barrier, but it's not enough. Bradley will grab the kill.
Really like that first trade from Bradley, as he just baits out the ult from Quacker and had teammates to rotate over, so Quacker being a little bit too far up, given that the majority of his team was on the bot side of the map or not showing on waves, ends up getting punished by TLC rather nicely. As Sketch throws out a cleanse for the cameras.
Sketch, what's going on, man?
He's just one of the, pop on screen. Oh, no, not that. No. Oh, no.
Nah, he 2 summoner spells is a clutch. He only wants to have 1. He doesn't need the cleanse, man.
He's really taking his new spot at the Giga extended back to new levels here of the truck.
Extended bed, please.
Extended bed.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one. Oh no!
No!
Oh.
You're kidding me!
Look at him pop though. Look at. I mean, this skin with a cleanse animation, that pop. I mean, please. It is so hot right now.
Oh, our observers. They can be cruel. They can be kind. Just treat your observers with respect, and they won't do you like that.
That's true, actually. They have power.
Well, at this state of the game, how are we feeling?
I think they just nodded yes. The camera.
How are we feeling about Team Liquid's lead? They got it up from the 600 it was earlier, almost at the 2K now. Obviously not to where it was before. What do you think they need to get to? As you were mentioning earlier, you want them to have a strong lead going into this comp of Supernova.
Yeah, I think that my concern moving forward is that when Nashor's Tooth gets completed from Azir and Sorelda's Grudge is completed by Ezreal, I like Supernova's comp then. I think it's really difficult for TLC to team fight into a Nashor's Tooth Azir given the peel and frontline that Supernova can have with this comp. So I think they have to play through sides. You kind of see that now. Harry getting that wave in bot. And then now he's going to shift mid to catch this. Okay, never mind. He's going to go back bot. Is there? Okay, hold on. A little goofy here from TL. They're going to full reset. They're going to drop that mid wave. Harry goes back bot. See they play for Dragon on the next one. But TLC, they're going to be playing through sides mostly. Whereas Supernova, they want that 5v5 to use this Azir. And I think once Azir gets Nashor's Tooth, that's where if I'm Supernova, I'm looking to fight as a group with Azir. Because the melee heavy composition, Nashor's Tooth Azir does a lot of damage. So Supernova, buy space for that. Front to back, that's going to be their path to success. Whereas TLC, they want to do the exact opposite, which is if they're going to take a 5v5, find all the angles, but I think they're much happier trying to make plays in sides against what Supernova has.
That leaves me to watch this bottom lane a little bit more with Robbie. I know he wants to get a recall soon. I'm curious how much gold he actually does have in the inventory to try and get that through. Now, here we go. Fight starting up. Music over the wall. Into Corruption goes out, gets returned. Music still getting poked away. Arrow able to land those shots true, and Music takes a lot of damage.
Something really small there I like from Arrow, waiting out the Aftershock to fire off that Q. You know, it's a small thing, but we like when our players do everything in their power to make sure they're maximizing their damage. Take a note of that one from home. Waiting out the Aftershock. So, Music's chunked out. That should be Dragon going over to TLC, uncontested.
As you're mentioning, the itemization of Robbie Bob wasn't exactly at that point. Now the Nashor's Tooth has been completed, so he's going to be in a good position. It's just the Dragon's already in the process of getting taken. At the same time, you have Quacker, who was able to grab that solo turret over in the top side.
All good for the side of Supernova, as once Music gets chunked on the top side of the map, that Dragon's gone. There's no taking it. And again, it's Chemtech Soul on the Rift, so as I said previously, I think this impacts Summoner's Rift itself more than it impacts the game, even if a team picks up a Chemtech Soul. I will say, Olaf is the person that abuses it the most, so that's pretty sweet if Supernova is able to pick this one up in the end, but pretty far away from that, so not too worried about the Soul, but I am worried about TLC's ability to end this game, because one thing that TLC's comp does not do well is take Baron. As it is the poke Varus. So I think TLC, it's tough for them to accelerate this game pace into Supernova, given all the wave clear you have with Azir Ezreal. And this is why those plays that Supernova made in the earlier parts of the mid game, later parts of the early game, Deserex, were so important for making sure they can weather the storm and get to a point where their composition, I'm going to say, down 2k gold at this point of the game, is ahead of TLC in the 5v5.
I mean, with the last couple of minutes that have come through, it's been a good look from Supernova in this matchup against TLC. Keep in mind, this is the bottom of the standings versus the top of the standings. Supernova have always been capable of doing these upsets. It's been about fine-tuning this machine to be what it needs to be to get this individual talent to actually work together. Quacker is an immaculate player, so is Robbie Bob. But in the context of Supernova, we want to see this actually work out as a team.
And my mind goes back, you know, you mentioned the team aspect, like what Sketch said in my chat yesterday, where he's like, we're like the best bad team ever in this league, which is kind of true. Like, Supernova, they have 10 wins. They're not a terrible team, but they can turn games into wins. It's not like last year when the last split when Sketch was on COG Faith, we were 1-29. Anyway, Kim down.
Yeah, Sketch getting the Mystic shots in, trying to take down Kim down. Cleanse comes out. Sketch going to use it at the right time this time, but there's another shot from the turret. Does not take him down. Robbie Bob, Emperor's Divide, looking to get away. Ooh, taking the magical journey, but Harry's going to follow through. And now this is looking really tasty for Team Liquid. They want to continue with the chase because there's not much damage to fight back. And Harry, double kill picked up. Music's going to fall as well. And Team Liquid, they get the team fight they're looking for. All off a messed up engage coming out from Supernova.
Hello, Harry Zakali. Good to have you back here in Challengers. It's been a little bit, but it's still nasty as ever as he's able to clean up that fight in favor of TLC. And yeah, I think the start of the fight there for Supernova, not too bad, but Sketch ended up eating a lot of damage from that death sentence from Kim Down, and well played from Kim Down to blow that cleanse early and force Sketch out of the fight, because once he had the head for the hills, that's where TLC felt very comfortable to walk on forward as Supernova overplayed their hands. Now, Baron at 3k, Quacker.
Oh, Quacker!
Okay.
Oh, he gets onto Arrow. He's looking for more. Ragnarok's getting popped. 2k health remains onto the Baron, but Quacker goes down. Robbie Bob is now here. Bradley and Mir, they should be able to secure this. There's the smite, gonna come through, but here comes Robbie Bob looking to jump in. Doesn't have the Emperor's Divide, and he's in the middle of 4. Dead sentence from Kim Down lands right on the money, and Sketch can't even finish off Bradley. Team Liquid clean up.
Kim Down's Thresh. I remember. Oh, hold on. Okay, Harry should be getting out of here. He's got a Lancer. Okay,
Oh wait,
hold on.
does he fancy himself this? Yeah, we saw this before. The Music Trevor versus Harry show. Harry wins out, but now Kim Down is here to make that co-starring appearance, and it's gonna be a double kill picked up by Harry. No, last plan at the right time. Harry is content with the kills he got.
So last split, I visited TLC for a day of scrims, and it was right when the meta swapped, and it was more Jinx and Felios getting played compared to Zeri Lucian. And everyone was like, yeah, you know, Kim Down used to be a Thresh one trick. And Spawn was like, really? And all the guys were like, yeah, he did. So good to see Kim's Thresh make an appearance here for this split as well. As in the back half of this fight, you can see Quacker. I don't mind this on the arrow. I think the issue is that Quacker wasn't able to continue to auto attack as he couldn't get to Mir, and then Bradley had Counter-Strike up, so he couldn't keep the Ragnarok running. And then Kim just misses that death sentence on the sketch, able to find the other one. Ravi Bob going in, he gets knocked back by Mir, so a little bit over-aggressive from him, and then a beautiful death sentence connecting from Kim. Make sure that sketch falls. Bradley barely lives. TLC end up taking that Baron after that one skirmish mid, and with TLC, dealing with this comp, the 5v5 front to back would have been really tough, but Supernova overplaying their hand. They gave TLC the angles, the skirmishes that they need to be successful with this composition, and you cannot make mistakes like that against our top team in Challengers. It doesn't matter which mid laner's playing on this squad, Deserex. They are still, much like Cloud9 was last split, the team to beat.
Yeah, TLC are raising some of the best mid laners. They showed it with APA. Now Harry's back and get into business here with his Akali. 7-0-5 is this Akali. Look at the Medjais. It is fully stacked up. Harry is putting on a clinic, and now the base of Supernova in shambles as they'll lose their bot lane inhibitor.
How is a very scary champion to give away 25 stacks to, I must say. Kind of abused. Oh, we had a pick. Okay. Yes, Kim. Take it for yourself. You gotta earn them.
Good job from Kim. Noah, 2, 3, 4. At this point, you put in the work. You deserve the kills. Can't let them hog all the gold.
What the man eat?
Oh, Void Staff now finished for Harry. So the Eden's about to get better. Harry's gonna melt through these health bars. And there's not much Supernova can really do about it. Their window feels like it's been missed. I know they got the scaling in their favor, but when you have a 7.2k gold lead coming out from basically just one fight, it's looking doom and gloom.
What I love about TLC is that, yeah, Supernova does have scaling in their favor. But what scenarios do they have scaling in their favor? It's in the 5v5. And we haven't seen TLC opt in for a single front-to-back 5v5 against Supernova. Given how they've played the map, how they've set things up, they haven't given Supernova that opportunity. And I think that really is where TLC puts some space between themselves and the competition in Challengers, is that when they are able to take these aggressive comps they like to play, they know how to not give the enemy team the windows that they're looking for in order to win the game. I think that's something that is kind of slept on in League of Legends quite a bit, considering what your opponent wants to do to win, and also what you want to do to win, and find a game plan that you feel like works better for you. That's something that I think TLC, this game in the back half, they never gave Supernova the windows that they really were looking for with this competition. Props to them being smart enough to do that, as Quacker can try and get his ultimate out.
And they get it. Ragnarok burnt away. Not much to worry about for Team Liquid, because Quacker no longer just step right through all your crowd control. Now the pressure is getting insurmountable. Team Liquid balancing around both the mid lane and the top lane. They're slowly chipping away at these structures based on where the minion waves are, with another minion wave getting led into the mid. Team Liquid should be able to pounce and take this inner tower.
I don't think TLC wants to wait for that Elder Dragon to spawn. Give Supernova the chance to flip. Try and end things before that. But at the moment, we are a $120 away from that Baron, so TLC will take the reset as we have the team fighting Jax build. Zanya's Hourglass picked up. Actually quite like this against Olaf, as Go Golden buys some more time for your Counter-Strike to come back up, and also buy some time for Ragnarok to go to the wayside.
Kind of wild considering the performances of Team Liquid. Now you have Bradley and Harry, two players who have already won back-to-back proving grounds from last year. You have the 2 Chains Bradley meme. Well, that's the same thing for Harry, and with the way this team has been performing, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if by the end of playoffs we're talking about the prospect of a potential 3 Chains Bradley, 3 Chains Harry. This team is just that good.
Then our top dogs all split, and Harry's really making it look like the way that Diplex made it look like with MNES, which was, it doesn't matter which mid plays. This is the best team, and that's props to not only the mid laner, but really the entirety of TLC. I think the way that they play map in this split is really head and shoulders above the majority of other teams that we have in the league. And that, to me, is the biggest difference between TLC. The fact that they can win fights, but also they give themselves every opportunity to win fights. Harry's going in.
Watch for Harry. He's underneath the tower. Almost takes out Trevor in one combo. Now the Lantern gets him back to safety. Sketch on the hunt for Mir. And ooh, got to be careful about that because Kim down, almost having Sketch's number. Sketch going to use the cleanse to get away from the death sentence. Supernova not going to lose anyone. Trying to get side lane pressure from Robbie Bob.
That blast plant just spawned. Supernova wants to get really frisky. Could think about it, not going to be the case though. Harry bases, he has access to that TP. Good use of the blast plant here from Supernova as Harry.
Trevor, beware. Here comes Harry. He shows up and Supernova instantly makes space for him. Now Quacker in the front, throws down to Ragnarok right in the face of him down. Arrow is too far into the back line, and here comes Harry, goes legendary, picking up Quacker. Music shoved against the wall. Out comes the Tempered Fate. It is going to stop Team Liquid from having more momentum, from getting more kills, but it's not going to stop them from controlling this side of the map. However, on the other side, Robbie Bob gets a solo against Bradley.
What happened there? Robbie Bob ends up finding a big one. That puts Bradley in the death chamber. Now TLC, they're still hitting this Baron. They're kind of low. Supernova, if they do... Okay, never mind. No play. No attempt at the play. I will say, though, Supernova, they are going up against a Baron. Taking Bradley off the map does at least slow down the setup for TLC for the Elder Dragon. The game will come down.
Turo Baron buff now picked up. Robbie Bob trying to be the hero for this squad. Currently 3 of 4 and 0. Kind of rough to do, but we kept talking about it. Scaling's on their side, and Supernova have been known to flip some of these matches coming through.
Yeah, this Azir's big.
Like, now Maul finished for Sketch to try and deal with some of the damage of Harry.
The one concern I have for Azir right now is that if Harry uses Proto Belt, you can burn through the Crown and the Banshees on the side of Azir. So I think that's something that Supernova is going to really have to defend against as we do set up this Elder. 30 seconds away. TLC has bot lane Cryo. There is no TP for Quacker, so Bradley has access to his. He's going to go top side, try and at least fix that wave and see how far he can get it in.
Now Supernova's starting to posture up. They see Mir, and they're just going to collapse right onto him. Teleport coming through. Bradley will join the fight. Music still trying to be that frontliner, but here comes Harry right on the flank. Sketch able to get a couple shots in, but Harry's already finished off the kill and gotten out. Now Death Sentence comes through. It's on a Robbie Bob, and even with the Emperor's Divide, it is far too late. Sketch caught by the Death Sentence of Kim down. He will not miss. Puts down the stopwatch to get himself a little bit of time, and it's all that's needed for Team Liquid to clean this up and find the ace.
Him down, man. Yes, he was a Thresh one trick. The Thresh has come out to play. He finds both carries in that fight for Supernova as Kim down makes sure that that is the end to Supernova in this game. TLC find the clean wipe. And honestly, Supernova had some decent looks in that game. I feel like they never really won a fight, but they didn't really take a 5v5 until then. And when they did, Music got one shot, unfortunately. So besides that, though, you know, there was opportunity. Supernova. It's not bad for our last place team against our first place team. There's chances. How you feeling, Deseret?
There was chances, but yeah, that was still 25 stack Medjais that Harry put those chances to rest. To rest. That's the soft way of putting it.
It is. You know, I'd like to see Supernova showing some grit, as this is a team that I think plays map decently well and is our lowest ranked team in Challengers, but we have seen worse lower ranked teams for sure. But yeah, I mean, TLC, they're tough to beat, man.
Yeah, they are.
The way that they find angles and really have shown some diversity, and also just who can carry, as it felt like that game. Kim Down spin up, man. Like on a champion that I've known Kim Down for since his time at UCI. Really good to see him on that Thresh just put up a huge game. It felt like he was playing main engage with that champ, man. And that's pretty impressive to do against what Supernova had going up against TLC.
Decent look in the early game for Supernova, but you're going to need more than that if you want to take down Team Liquid. We're going to take a moment to throw it over to a short break. When we return, we'll have Grapes on the other side with the Rally Cry halftime show. The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.